The man slides his arm into the alien armor, and the metal instantly links with his skin. His friends around him start cheering, but the sharp edges suddenly bite into his flesh, and the pain rips a scream out of him. It takes everyone pulling together to get him out, and they find that no tool leaves a single mark on the armor when wiping the scratches with a damp towel. Every bit of damage repairs itself in seconds. This gear from the crashed ship carries self-healing technology far beyond anything humans understand, and the alien who commands that technology, Hakon, is trapped right now deep in the ruins of the Chertonovo district. Rewind 3 days. The Moscow night sky puts on quite a show as a meteor comes screaming straight toward Earth. Minutes later, 2 fighter jets scramble from the nearest airbase to intercept. As the jets close in, the pilots realize with shock that it isn't a meteor at all. It's a massive alien ship, its hull covered in metallic veins and glowing energy conduits. Command decides to take it out before it enters the atmosphere. 2 missiles hit dead on, and the explosion swallows part of the hull. But the ship releases a powerful electromagnetic pulse, and every electronic system on the jets dies. The pilots eject, and the jets go down into the sea. The crippled ship enters the atmosphere, its surface bursting into flame, a giant fireball streaking across the night sky toward Moscow. Every phone loses signal at once, and panic spreads. The ship tears through building after building before plowing into a stadium in the Chertonovo district, flattening the stands and finally stopping against the back wall. At first light, an armored military convoy has the site locked down. Running the operation is Colonel Lebedev, 30 years in service. Radiation specialists confirm the readings are normal, no hazardous leaks. When Colonel Lebedev and a special envoy from Parliament approach the ship, a side panel opens and a 3-meter silver-white mech steps out. The envoy asks in Russian why they've come, and the mech answers in Russian. The alien says the ship crashed by accident, that he'll leave once repairs are done, and asks that humans stay away. The envoy starts to press further when his pacemaker suddenly falters in the ship's magnetic field. Colonel Lebedev immediately orders a withdrawal. 3 days later, a 10-meter concrete wall seals off the entire crash zone. Across the city, in a room at the municipal hospital, Yulia wakes up. The doctor tells her she was hit by falling debris and has been unconscious for 3 days. Her best friend Svetlana died in the crash. Colonel Lebedev comes to take his daughter home. Yulia asks about the alien, and her father says the government has decided to avoid conflict for now. Yulia loses it. She can't understand why they're letting a killer walk. Back home, she quietly takes her father's pistol out of the safe. The next day, Yulia goes straight to Tyoma and his friends and lays out her plan: sneak into the quarantine zone and avenge Svetlana. Tyoma is quiet for a moment, then agrees. That night, the 6 of them slip under the wall through an abandoned drainage tunnel. Searching the rubble, one of them finds a metal disc, smooth as a mirror. Yulia heads off alone to the last place Svetlana stood, the rooftop of a high-rise that's now only half standing. Standing on the broken rooftop, Yulia looks down at their photo on the ground and swears she'll make the aliens pay. Right then, a low mechanical hum breaks the silence, and a silver-white mech climbs up over the edge. Yulia stumbles back onto loose rubble, and her body goes over the side. The next second, a metal arm shoots out like lightning and locks around her wrist. Through the mech's visor, she sees a man's face inside. Tyoma hears the gunshot and climbs up to find the alien standing right there. He swings a steel pipe at the mech, and it topples off the roof. They go downstairs to check, and find the mech lying on its side in the rubble, completely empty. Yulia's eyes drift to a corner, where the alien is curled up among a pile of store mannequins. She quietly looks away. As they're hauling the mech out, patrol troops show up, and they have to ditch the metal disc. They carry the mech back to Tyoma's hideout, and try every tool they have on it. Nothing so much as scratches it. When Tyoma wipes the grime off with a wet rag, the scratches and dents repair themselves right before their eyes. The armor heals itself, and the trigger is water. The companion decided to put it on personally. He slides his right arm into the mech's arm, blue light bleeds through the seams, and countless tiny filaments reach for his skin. Then the interior contracts and clamps down hard. It takes all of them to pull him free, his arm covered in deep gashes. Yulia says they should hand the mech over to the military, and Tyoma finally nods. Meanwhile, at a military research center, scientists are running every test they have on that metal disc. Nothing penetrates the surface. As Colonel Lebedev is about to leave, the water in a bucket starts flowing upward, against gravity. Around the same time, residents near the quarantine zone find their taps running dry and the nearby lakes drained. At an emergency government meeting, scientists explain that the ship is repairing itself and water is what it needs. Public anger builds like a volcano. Tyoma drives toward the military base, hoping to trade the mech for compensation money. But his friends clash with the soldiers. The scene turns into chaos, and they pin one soldier to the ground. Mounted troops charge in to break up the crowd. One of Tyoma's friends takes a baton to the head and a hoof to the leg. Tyoma rushes in to pull him out and catches a baton on the shoulder. Colonel Lebedev arrives with his men and orders the cavalry back. He recognizes Tyoma, and soon after, soldiers take him away. Yulia isn't in that crowd. She goes back through the abandoned tunnel to the ruins alone, and behind a pile of rubble, she finds Hakon huddled against a broken wall, the alien who saved her. 1,000 thoughts run through her head. She could turn around and leave him to die. In the end, she sighs, drags him out through the tunnel, and calls up an old classmate, Google. Google checks him over and says he needs a transfusion, fast or he won't last the night. They pose as medical staff to get into a hospital and find Hakon's blood type is AB. As it happens, Yulia is AB too. The transfusion starts, and Google faints at the sight of blood. Yulia monitors it alone, watching the color return to Hakon's face as her blood flows into him. Halfway through, Hakon opens his eyes, sees the line connecting them, and something like disbelief flickers across his face. When it's done, and Yulia pulls the needle out, Hakon suddenly takes her hand, and his wristband transfers to her. Back at Yulia's place, she accidentally triggers the wristband in the shower. The water rises against gravity, forming a sphere in midair that follows the movement of her hand. Hakon explains the band controls water molecules. Yulia puts it away, her face going serious, and demands to know why the ship is draining the city's water. Hakon's expression darkens. It's a small research vessel. A meteor shower knocked out the shields and it went down out of control. And the human missiles only made things worse. It takes the water because the self-repair system needs enormous amounts of it as raw material. The moment repairs finish, he leaves. The problem is a missing component called a shilk, disguised as a metal disc, and it's sitting in a military research facility. Yulia says she'll help him, but the second he has it, he goes. Yulia visits her father's office and lifts his keycard during a hug. That afternoon, Hakon walks in disguised as a researcher, gets through security, and finds the metal disc in the lab. He lays his hand on the surface, and the shilk comes free. Then the alarms go off. Colonel Lebedev gets the two of them into a car and out. Back home, Hakon asks Yulia why she's helping him. She says quietly, "At first I hated all of you. My best friend died in that crash. But that night, you saved me." Just then, Yulia's dog trots in. Hakon strokes its head and says its retinas are degenerating. He presses the shilk gently to the top of its head, and warm light spills out. A few minutes later, the dog's eyes are clear and bright, its sight fully restored. Hakon explains the shilk holds almost limitless energy. It can rearrange molecular structure and repair any kind of damage. That evening, the two of them go to the Doomsday concert in the city square. In the middle of the crowd, Yulia pulls Hakon onto the dance floor. They sway slowly to the music. As it builds, Yulia closes her eyes and rests her forehead against his. That strange connection forms again. Hakon opens his memories and lets her see his world. Floating crystal platforms, waterfalls pouring down out of the clouds. When the music ends, they head out, but one of Tyoma's friends spots them in the crowd. Tyoma brings his guys over and starts swinging at Hakon. Hakon keeps backing away and never once strikes back. Yulia breaks free and plants herself in front of Tyoma, telling him Hakon hasn't hurt anyone. They're not invaders. Tyoma stares her down and slaps her hard across the face. Hakon looks at the mark on Yulia's cheek, and his eyes go from gentle to ice cold. The next second he moves so fast you can barely track it, and the man beside him is flat on the ground. Even without the armor, he's far beyond any human. Another one pulls a gun and tries to jump him. In the struggle, both triggers go off, and the bullet veers off and hits Tyoma's own friend. Tyoma holds the dying man in his arms as soldiers come running toward the gunfire. They have no choice but to scatter. The next day, Tyoma posts a video claiming the aliens are killing civilians, stealing the water, and now attacking anyone who resists. He calls on everyone to break through the wall. Thousands surge toward the quarantine zone again, tearing through the barrier and pouring toward the ship. Hakon sees it and goes pale. If that many humans force their way in, the ship's defense system will read it as an attack and trigger the destruct sequence automatically. If the antimatter core self-destructs, the blast radius covers 50 kilometers, all of Moscow gone in an instant. The two of them drive straight for the ship. Around it, hundreds of people are swarming the silver-white Guardian mech. Then everything changes fast. An alien mech closes in behind their armored vehicle, and the one piloting it is Tyoma. Yulia knows it's bad and floors the accelerator, but the mech's thrusters are unbelievable. And with a roar, Tyoma pulls level with the car. He swings around to the front, sees Hakon through the windshield, and all that bottled-up rage breaks loose. He smashes his fist down on the glass. Yulia tries to shake him off, But Tyoma grabs the rear of the vehicle and hauls himself back onto the roof. She throws him clear the same way again, but Tyoma gets up and hits the vehicle with everything he has. The armor can't take it, and the whole thing flips through the air. When it finally stops rolling, Hakon finds Yulia unconscious, and Tyoma already coming for them again. Hakon shoves the door open and goes out to meet him. Looking back at Yulia lying there, he feels anger for the first time in his life, and he charges the mech. He's incredibly quick, and he knows every move that machine can make, but the strength gap is what it is, and he's thrown aside hard. Tyoma doesn't stop there. He turns and bears down again, every blow with everything he's got. One mistake and Hakon is dead, so he falls back behind a car, looking for an opening to strike. But Tyoma sees it coming. He catches the weapon mid-swing, tears it away, and grabs Hakon in his fist. Facing the alien who took the woman he loves, Tyoma shows no mercy. Fist after fist slamming into Hakon's body. The pounding wakes Yulia. Seeing the man she loves seconds from death, she fires up the armored vehicle and drives straight at them. Just as Tyoma is about to finish it, the front bumper fills his vision. The impact knocks him off his feet, but it doesn't put him down. He shakes it off and comes back at the vehicle. And this time he pulls too hard, ripping one of the mech's arms clean off, and the machine loses its balance. Even flat on the ground, he keeps crawling toward Hakon. A soldier rushes in to stop him, but Tyoma is past reason now and turns on him too. That's when the toll of piloting the mech catches up with him. His strength gives out and he collapses. The battlefield goes quiet. People lower their weapons one by one, and the alien mechs stop moving. And in that exact moment, Tyoma gets his hands on a gun again. The trigger comes down, and the shot carries across the whole battlefield. Soldiers pile on and pin him, but Yulia and Hakon are already down. As Colonel Lebedev breaks down beside them, the alien mech arrives, carries them both back to the ship, and places them in a treatment chamber before leaving. When the mech returns to its charging bay, Colonel Lebedev realizes there's no pilot inside at all. As he stands there baffled, a voice speaks beside him, the ship's AI. These aliens come from the Gemini system, and this is only a small research vessel. Its entire crew is one person, Hakon. They were observing Earth from a distance when a meteor struck the hull, and the ship went down out of control. By their rules of exploration, Earth is off limits. The readings show a near-perfect climate, but the life here is extraordinarily aggressive. In the past 500 years, humans have started 15,000 wars, killing more than 400 million people. By their projections, in another 600 years, Earth's resources will be stripped bare, and humanity will go extinct with them. Hakon gives up his own immortality to bring Yulia back, and the price is that he must sleep. The missing component is recovered, and the ship finally powers up again. This civilization never meant to make contact, because experience taught them that interfering with an undeveloped world only speeds up its end. But Yulia's choice shows them something. There is good in humanity too. When the ship reaches home, they'll reassess Earth. Maybe one day they'll come back. Yulia watches the ship shrink into the sky, and she believes Hakon will find his way back to her.